All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome in.
Hello, team leaders.
Good to see y'all.
Y'all are quiet. Since when are team leaders quiet? Can everybody unmute and say hi?
I love it. Good morning, team leaders.
Hello, good morning.
I guess it's not morning there where y'all are.
I was just thinking, what time is it for you?
It is
At 11, 10?
no, I think it's 10. Yeah, it's 10.
Linda's living a real rough life right now. Linda, you want to tell them about your rough situation?
The life of profit share.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo about the t-shirts because I'm at the beach and I'm wearing beach attire instead. I'm living the beach attire life this week. Jimmy's on an 8-day fishing trip and I am doing solitude, well, kind of solitude, except with you guys here in San Diego. So rough life.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I know we've got a handful more hopping in. So Rebecca and Andy, if you will let people in as they come. And you ready to go ahead and kick us off? You started?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Awesome. You know what I thought we would do? So y'all have a great treat today. You have two amazing women, McKissacks, two amazing women in my life who are rock stars when it comes to recruiting. And so I'm going to introduce them in a second. But before we do that, Linda and I and Anna wanted to share about something pretty exciting. So let me share my screen real quick. Y'all have likely gotten an email from Linda specifically about, let me share here. Okay, awesome. Can everyone see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you got it. Okay, cool. You probably likely got an email from Linda about our Profit Share Virtual Summit. And so before we kicked off, we're talking today about getting more agent referrals, right? How do we get more warm leads? So one of the things we wanted to share just to kind of kick us off is a way that Linda and I and Anna have been talking about how to really help you hit your goals in Q4 for recruiting. And so we're going to host actually our second time. Last year we had Gary Keller and just an amazing lineup of speakers. But this will be our second annual virtual Profit Share Summit. And Linda, talk for a second about how we realized like there was no event for Profit Share.
Right. Well, just like yesterday, Pres, with you and I interviewing the gentleman on our Profit Share Mastery podcast, I mean, it almost moved me to tears to realize that he had wanted to help. He had tried to help in the past, but he didn't have a systematic way to do it. And so now I think it was 20 something people. He's been with the company, 15 years, and he put 20 something people
27 into his downline in 11 months.
So I think one of the reasons we woke up and realized to do this was because we've got to keep the conversation going about profit share, and we got to not, hide it under the bush here. This is a real important topic. And the more we talk about it and the more people hear successes and hear different people's view about the importance of it, I think the more our agents are going to wake up and take advantage of it. And so you and I don't even know how we actually came across it, but we said, why don't we do just a summit one day, a profit share summit? And then we got so many requests, and maybe some of you, I'd love to know in the chat if you attended last year or your office did an office watch party. But we had so many people say that was amazing. We should do that again every year. So that's kind of become our goal, is just one day a year, just like we have Red Day, we have other days where we just kind of keep our focus on some of the great opportunities that we have here at Keller Williams. And so I love our lineup this year. I'm super excited because I think we have some amazing people to spend the day with. And so that's how we wound up doing our Profit Share Summit.
Yep. And the truth is, if you want to win in your role as a team leader, growing your office, you've got three options. Number one is you can do more. Mm-hmm. Which I think we can all say that a lot of us necessarily don't want to do more.
Well, that's not the model. The model is grow with your people, not around your
That's
people.
Right. So do more. Number two is do better, right? Get better at what you're already doing. And then the third option is get others to help you. And so Linda and I want you to use this event as a market center watch party day. And so a couple of things I just want to highlight real quick, and then we'll jump into Anna and Linda's presentation for today. Number one, our keynote is Mel Anderson. And if you can see my shirt, it says KW Culture starts with profit share. And so that is our theme this year. And Mo is going to deliver an amazing presentation and interview for all of us and our agents around profit share. And then in addition to that, we've got a lineup of some amazing speakers. You've got ones you've probably seen before. You've got Jason Abrams, Aaron Kaufman. Hopefully you all know who he is. Stakeholder evangelist. And then we've got some amazing other people like Nick Avila, Jules Presta. Jules recruited 150 people into her downline in 1 year, last year alone. Amazing, right? And then number 2, Nick recruited 120 last year in 1 year into his downline. So we've got people who are doing this at a really high level because we've got to get our agents seeing that this is a big opportunity, because the more they buy in, the more all of you are going to have more people who are actually interested in profit share and therefore willing to row the boat with you, right? Because that's what we all want. We all want more people helping us row the boat. So with that being said, this is Linda and I's goal. This is Linda and I's goal of what we want this day to be for you. One of the ways, if you study sales, like growing companies, one of the ways that you learn to win at a higher level is you've got to move from one-to-one activities to one-to-many. And so what I mean by that is, like, we all only have how many hours in a day? 24, right? Linda wasn't given 36 and me 18. We've all got the same amount of time. The difference, though, is some people learn how to maximize their time. And that means you learn to go one-to-many. And so Linda and I put together a plan that I think any of you can execute for using this event to go and have one activity, 1 day event, but multiply your results, multiply your referrals that you receive. So this is kind of what we put together. If let's just say, and I think you can all do better than this, but you all have 30 people that you can get in a room for at least the first half of the Profit Share Virtual Summit. Okay, so for the first half of the day, what I would do if I were in your shoes is I would have them in the seats for the start of the event. And then at lunch, I would host a profit share mastermind, wealth building mastermind. You call it whatever you want to call it. Feed them lunch because you know that's going to drive more agents to be in the room, because all of our people love lunch. Yes. And then I would have one simple call to action from that mastermind.
Yep.
One of these two things: either give me 2 names by the end of the day that I can contact on your behalf to build your wealth, or number 2, this is the better one, connect me to 2 people by the end of the day. And if you did that one thing, you're only going to have a certain number of your agents that actually do it, because that's just math, right? But the ones who do, we did the math on it. I think you can get at least 20 referrals in 1 day. Warm connections or warm referrals. And if you did that one thing based on our current conversion rates in KW, which is 4 to 1, and we all know warm referrals are probably the best conversion we all have, but let's just say 4 to 1. If your cap was 20, put in your cap, whatever it is, that's a potential of $100,000. So for a 1 day event, for $250 for your marketer to have a watch party, you have the opportunity to make 100. So
hey, Pres, let me add something real quick, because I had an aha last week when I spoke to Idaho's top 100 agents. And when I went there, and I think we all are guilty of this, Pres, we tend to think that agents are tired of hearing and don't want to hear about profit share. So I had gone prepared, because that made me sad to think that they didn't want to hear about it. And I asked the room, how many of you are interested in me talking to you about profit share? 100% of the hands went up. And the interesting thing is, someone had brought a recruit, and the recruit was probably more interested than anyone. So I think we have to remove our limiting beliefs. And, personally, I'd even maybe send out an email and say, hey, anybody interested? Has this market made anybody wish you'd prepared and built more wealth before the season of real estate we're in? And if they say yes, invite them to come and hear about it, because I think, number one, they hear through the rumor mill all the things that it's really not. And when they get to hear it, live like this. So I wouldn't even be opposed. And that was an aha I had in Boise last week, was I think we need to stop being afraid of, number one, talking about it with our agents, and number 2, seeing what guests might be interested in talking about it.
Yeah, that's really good, Linda. Yeah, I think we got it, especially with all the profit share changes, there is going to be more profit share for those who are here. So we've got to lean into it. And at the same time, this is your way. Linda and I promise, our commitment to you is we will deliver on this event for you. And you just need to get them and get their butts in the chair. And then I think if you use the mastermind at lunch, it will set you up to get a whole bunch of warm referrals to fuel your fourth quarter. So that's really our goal, to help you guys win. A couple quick things. If you go to profitsharesummit.com, you can get a Marcus Center Watch Party ticket. The other thing is you can scan the QR code and it'll take you right there. And then lastly, I know some market centers have something already on that date. You have 14 days access to the recordings. So if that date doesn't work, I wouldn't not do it. Just do it on a different day. You have 14 days. So pick something within 14 days after the 26th. And then you can host it in your market center that day and watch all the recordings. Okay, with that being said, I'm now going to introduce Linda and Anna. So real quick, start with Linda. Linda McKissack, if you don't know, is the #1 profit share earner in our entire company. Her and Jim McKissack collectively, do y'all know, put in the chat, how much profit share do y'all think Linda and Jim have earned in their career at Keller Williams? Put a guess in the chat. I want to see a couple.
And we've been here a long time, so pick a big number.
40 million. Dang, I wish it was 40 million.
Yeah, I like that number.
We like that number. No, it's not
We're
6.
working on getting there.
Hey, these are all really, really good guesses. They just passed a milestone, and it was $16 million in lifetime earnings from Keller Williams profit share. So when you talk about a legacy worth leaving, there is no one better than Linda McKissack to talk on that topic. And Linda's also the regional owner of the Ohio Valley region. Now, I'm going to move over to Anna real quick. Anna has been everything in this company, pretty much, except maybe the MCA and a couple.
I have not done Dofi
That's
agent
true.
services.
Okay.
MCA.
She's been a lot. She's been a agent. She built a team. She moved into being a launching team leader of a market center.
You forgot assistant team leader.
That's right. Assistant team leader, launching team leader of an office, grew that from 0 to 100 agents in 2 years. And then moved into an OP role. And now she is a area director of the Ohio Valley region. So Anna is masterful at recruiting, and she was never, to be totally honest with you, Anna was never the team leader who was grossing 10, 15 a month. However, she was the team leader who got 90% of her leads from referral. And she was really, really good at that one thing.
Well, my focus was I was the highest net company dollar team leader in our region for
2 years.
The 2 years. And then I also focused on referrals from agents. So I have 19 people in my first line for my downline. However, I have been in leadership for multiple years and have grossed a couple hundred people in my career.
Yeah.
So the whole goal of that is I kind of looked down, I'm like, where's all the people in my downline? And I realized, oh my gosh, this means I did it right. I did it with my people. So it's really fun to be able to see some of that.
Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to them. So give a warm welcome to Anna and Linda, and get ready to take a bunch of notes because they're about to rock you with a whole bunch of ideas.
Awesome. Let's do this.
Don't you love how Pres has to come in here and like make sure all the technology is all set up properly?
Yeah. Speaking of technology, is somebody running the PowerPoint?
I am running the PowerPoint, which I asked him if they were sure that was the right decision.
Yeah, well, we'll find out very shortly, right? So we're here to talk about how to get more agent referrals, right? So there are only 2 ways to get more referrals. You either earn them or you ask for them. And we're going to dig in a little bit more in each of these. But so how do you earn referrals?
Okay, so we're going to start on the earning referral side. This is a lot of fun because you earn the conversations that you have with people. The #1 biggest way to earn referrals is to be doing life with the agents in the sense of being their consultant. We're not talking about being their friend. Now that is a part of it where you have human to human connection, but are you also being their business partner through consulting? Consulting looks like designated times that you're having business conversations. Because what I hear team leaders talking about frequently when we'll look at their consulting conversations is they're having business conversations when their agents come to them, but it's not a designated consistent time. So what that looks like, if you go out and that agent is talking to another company, they say, yes, my company is always there when I need them. However, that's not how coaching relationships work. Consulting relationships are a designated time for you to work together. The second is strategic content. Oftentimes I will hear team leaders giving content that's more motivational than it is strategic. So this looks like the conversation that you're having with people. Is it more of, you can do this, the market is shifting, double down on your activities, things that are just generic? Or is it things like, with the change of the conversion ratios, knowing that, hey, conversion ratios go from 5% to 1%, or conversion ratios are going to change from a 4-to-1 to a 6-to-1. And this is how you strategically change that. So this is where you collect information. Gary talks about this frequently. On all he does is he goes on a consulting appointment, and then the next consulting appointment or recruiting appointment he has is from the information from the previous one. This means that you are not the value proposition. Your opinion is not the value proposition. It's this beautiful red book that we have that is the value proposition. If you have not mastered this, you're consulting based on opinion rather than facts. Provide an experience to people that they want to refer to, meaning, are you great at following up? Do you have timely conversation? Do you communicate well? Is it an experience to where they feel good about giving that referral? Put on recruitable events. Here's what I want you to hear about this. When somebody walks in, is the agent that's giving the referral, are they proud of the event? It's not just putting the event together. It's, does it have a bow on it? Is it something when they walk in, they feel something and it's something they're excited about? Deliver on what you say you will do. What this means is it's follow-up. So I was teaching customer experience yesterday at KWU class, and I love the slide they have in there where it has a circle and it says your words with another circle that says your actions. And where those two circles overlap, it says integrity. So if you are not following up with, I said I will do this, and you actually executed on doing it, then the agents feel like they lose trust in knowing if you will do something or if you won't do something. Find a way as team leaders. I'm going to be honest. We are not always the most organized individuals. However, you've got to find a way that works for you to make sure you're following through with what you said you were going to do, and people are going to trust that you're going to do that. And then number 6 is teach your agents how to build their profit share, which is through a great model that Linda has. So Linda, take it away.
Anna, before you switch, are you going to talk about your name or thing that you did? And then second of all, I would say on the do what you say you're going to do. A lot of times a team leader is super optimistic and they want to please everybody. And so they don't even realize that they're making promises, and their follow through probably is super low. Like on my graphs on a Colby, I'm very low on follow through. So I have to make sure that I get people around me or I have a system that makes sure that whatever I just came out of my mouth, I said I'm going to do, it actually has a plan to get it to be followed up. No right or wrong. It's just kind of whether we have high follow through or we don't have high follow through in our DNA, right? But Anna, talk about your name and thing. Or are you going to talk about that later? Or I loved that you used to do that.
Got a script for it later, so I'm going to share that.
Good. Okay. Well, I want to make sure they don't miss that one. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the formula. One of the things Pres and I figured out real early was we spent a lifetime telling our agents how not to do recruiting, like what not to do, but we never replaced it with, well, actually, what do I do? And the thing that Pres and I have learned from having this profit share mastery program is teaching them is one thing. Having a automatic system they can follow levels up the success even more. And the third and best is actually have a system where it does it for them. So what Pres and I came up with is a formula to help your agents understand. A lot of them believe that recruiting is a magic script or all these things. And so what you want to do is have your agents understand and live this formula out on a regular basis, which, by the way, this is the same formula I built my real estate business to over 200 transactions a year. It's the same formula I use to build wealth. It's the same formula I use to build Ohio Valley region. So this formula works for a lot of stuff. But if you can just teach your agents to do this on a regular basis, what happens is when they do make a referral to you, it's a much warmer referral. So what does this formula mean? Number one, get them to pick who do they love being a hero to? Who do they already help in their office? So if I'm going to pick a group of agents, let's say you're going to have them put 10 agents down on a name that they want to help you with over the next 12 months. One of the things you want to have them do is, who do they love to help? Who kind of comes to them already in the market center for certain things? Who gives them energy when they help them? And a great example of this is I get energized by helping what I call megas or untouchables. But when I go try to recruit new agents, I actually get my energy drained. So I don't want to build my plan around new agents. I'd rather someone else like Pres and Nick and his program do the new agents and let me go work with the people who people think agents to who we think has no problems, but I know they do, right? So help them be real clear when they put their list together. Who gives them energy, and then identify who those agents are, either by production. And I always say, if they don't know who to pick, tell them to pick a few agents above their production, a few agents at their productions, and a few agents below their production, right? And the reason I say that is because above their production, they have 100 times more tools than anybody else. Those playbooks that we've been given are the greatest tools in the world, right? No other company has those for their agents. So help them make their list on who they want to be a hero to and who they would enjoy, because we want them to enjoy doing this, because the more they enjoy it, the more they're going to work to help you get those people, right? And then the second thing is get them to identify what their validity is. A lot of times agents don't approach other agents because they don't think they're valid enough. So what is validity? Validity can be KW courses, the playbooks, the MREA book. It could be their own success, their own failures, their stories they have to tell. And we need to make them understand that none of us are good enough to make a seller sell, a buyer buy, or an agent join. So when we take that pressure off of our agents, they stop trying to figure out that they have to make somebody join, right? So we're going to give them this formula so that they understand how to get people to a place where they can self-discover that Keller Williams has what they need to take their business and their life to the next level. But they've got to have validity first. So before they make a phone call to another agent that's on that list, they need to understand that they have validity to make that call. And so validity might be if they've already, learned how to work in a down market right now. That's a validity that some other agents don't have out in the marketplace. It may be that they know how to list a property. They know how to price a property. Might be something that they're already teaching in the market center. So make them look at what their validity is. And then the second thing is let them understand that what they can do when they make those phone calls to the agents over time. And this is something they do all along, not just at a time when you're asking them. If they were already doing this, when they made that call to set up an appointment with you, would be so much easier. So this is what they do on a regular basis. So the next thing they do is they start a conversation with these agents. And there's two great ways for them to do that. Number one is a compliment, because nobody ever gets enough of them. Nobody ever minds a new one, but they got to be genuine and real. So it might be, hey, Pres, thank you for helping me get the house at 123 Main Street closed. I really appreciated your follow through and how you were always so responsive. That's really refreshing in this market. And then I'm going to go into trying to figure out what are a couple of their value gaps. So I might say, hey, the market's kind of changed a little bit. I'm just curious, what is the biggest issue that you've been facing in your business? And that's where I'm going to find out what their value gap or their value that they need right now is, right? Because the only one they care about is the one they need right now. They might have a list of 10, but the one they have most urgent is the one that is right now. And then I'm going to start teaching them to drop things into that value gap. So let's say someone says, well, you know what? My biggest issue right now is I don't know how to get price reductions. I've never had to get a price reduction. Guess what? I'm going to thank them for their doing the deal with me. I'm going to get off the phone with them. Now I'm going to start working on an arsenal, like a file that has things in it that have all around how to work with sellers in a buyer's market, right? So I'm going to start dropping things, having them drop things into that value gap and build that reciprocity and beholdenness, because reciprocity and beholdenness is a strong motivator. Robert Cialdini's book, Persuasion, talks all about when you give to another human, they naturally want to give something back. So if you're teaching these agents to do this, and when they pick up that phone and ask them to meet with you, or even just to meet with them for coffee, their odds go way up because they've been dropping little things into that person's big value gap for a while now, right? And if they just do that over time and not just all of a sudden when you want them to call an agent, they've warmed that relationship up and their odds go way up. So we've got to teach our agents that if they would do this on a regular basis and not ask for anything, not talk about Keller Williams, when you do get them to ask to meet with you or them to meet with them, they're more likely to say yes, right? And then the bottom one just means you got to put time in this. I've always said that, unfortunately, our agents believe that their most important relationships is with buyers and sellers. And we've got to teach them that their most important relationships is with other agents. And if they nurture those and build those, we got a lady a couple of years ago that had done this her whole life without realizing she had done this. She's brought 60 people over with her because she had relationships. She had validity. She would learn what people's value gaps are and try to help them. And she just did that over 20, 30 years. And guess what? When she made a move and opened an independent office, she had 60 people join her because she had been doing this her whole life. So if we can teach every agent, this is how you treat other agents, you're going to warm those agents' relationships up so much that your referrals are going to get better and better and better. And so they have to understand that this is a formula that they do always. It's what they already do to get buyers and sellers, but now it's what they're going to do to warm up those relationships with other agents. And if we get to the end, you have questions more about the formula, I'm happy to help you, but this is going to replace us telling them what not to do and say, this is how you do it. Do this on a regular basis. And then when all of a sudden you ask them to get you someone for coffee or to come meet you, they're going to have a better chance of that person saying yes, because they've already been pouring into them. I told you there was 2 ways to start a conversation: a compliment, because nobody ever gets enough of them. Nobody minds a new one, as long as they're genuine and real. And the second one is for them to call an agent and ask them for their opinion or their thoughts. Oprah said the number one value that people have as humans is to be understood, not interpreted. And when you ask people questions, they feel understood. So teach them how to ask other agents their thoughts or ideas, either on the market, the interest rate changes, whatever. That's a great conversation starter. That's how they're going to start those conversations with their list of people that you've helped them put together in their list of relationships that they want to build.
Linda, I want to kind of bring to life how I've observed you doing this since you put this formula together. So I'm going to bring it back down, because I remember the first time I heard it, I'm like, wow, that sounds awesome. But I haven't quite figured out how you actually do this on a practical basis. So I want to, for the people who are hearing this for the first time, relationships, you keep in contact with people.
Yes.
Meaning, text them just like you talked about of, hey, I saw this and I thought of you. Yep. Or, hey, I heard this and I thought of you. Or what do you think of this? So you are keeping in contact. This isn't daily. It doesn't have to be that aggressive of a relationship. You just, every couple of weeks, every couple of months, you keep in constant contact with them. Validity. You are always on the front row of just about every class. So what you do is you take what you learned from that class and then you text a picture of it to people, or you share it to people, or you talk about it with people. So that's how you build validity. And then you never go to a class alone. You always take a friend with you to experience it, because we know that people only learn through questions, stories, and experiences. So you never let an experience go to waste, and you always value by bringing along with you. Time just equals patience, meaning have everybody convert in the month that you give the referral. You just have to have patience of the nurture of going back to the top, of keeping a relationship with them. Keep building your validity of what you have to share and knowledge, not what you know, but what you have to share and knowledge, and bringing them with you to provide value. So that's how I've watched you bringing this formula to life.
Yeah. And that's why we tell them, Anna, don't put more than about 10 people on their list, because what happens is they will be in a class and think about one of the people on their list once. And as a team leader, if you would have them bring, after their first conversation or so, what they believe their top 2 value gaps are, you can help direct them and lead them to little things that they could drop into that value gap, because you are always out there knowing what the resources are. So, you know, and by the way, you don't have to get 100% right. You can just give them anything, and it creates reciprocity and beholdenness. You know, you might give them, hey, I noticed you do a lot of open houses. Here's a great, playbook on how to do a great open house. Thought of you, right? I mean, the people that are on my list, there's so few of them that I can think of being in class and think, oh my gosh, she needs to see this. Snap a picture, text it to her, and it just keeps me top of mind with that person.
Perfect. Okay. how to ask for referrals. So now we're going to go to the second side. So you earn the right to ask for more referrals. You have to earn that right. It's not something that you have a right on the front end. It's something that you earn. Linda, this is one of your best phrases.
Yeah, and I actually got it from I want to give credit where credit's due, from Joe Polish. He said, life gives to the giver and takes from the taker. If we could just teach our people that the way you get, and Zig Ziglar says it best, the way you get what you want in life is just help enough of other people get what it is they want. If we could just focus on that, being a giver, the rest will take care of itself. You cannot outgive what you're going to get. You need to teach your agents that so that they understand. And then that's why we just wake up every day and figure out, what does that person need us to give them? And the rest will kind of just, I think, by the way the world was made, take care of itself.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. So I think I hear you in the back of my head so often when I'm thinking about giving to people. And one of the other phrases that you have is, you can never outgive what you receive.
Yeah.
And so you can see Pres's reminder here to make sure that I give you my favorite script. So he's like, you never want to miss this one. So the first one, come from contribution. So this means it comes back to, you can never outgive what you receive. You're going to have agents that walk away or go to another brokerage or do something different. And if you just keep operating with the thought in mind of you can never outgive what you receive, this is something that it just keeps coming back to you. One of the things, Jim and Linda were interviewing for a leader, and it was really interesting. I heard Jim and Linda went to go grab some lunch, and Pres was talking with them and said, hey, what do you think about working with Jim and Linda? What's the reputation, or what attracts you to them? And he said, oh, I know their reputation. They grow leaders and they give back to their leaders in a big way. And that's what attracts me to want to work with them. And they've built that over time consistently, of giving people education, taking them along to classes, and giving them things that help them grow as better leaders. So it's the same thing for us, is we give contribution to our agents, and the more you give to them, it does build that law of reciprocity that Linda was talking about, that your agents naturally want to give back to you. The second is communicate referral updates. This is such an important one, that you can't get a referral and you're nurturing them, but in the absence of communication, stories are made up. If you're communicating, I followed up with them, I've had 3 appointments with them since the last time we talked. This is their expected join date. This is what is in the roadblock. Whatever it is, if you're not communicating with the agent, they assume you've dropped the ball on their referral. You must communicate. Even if you've fallen out of contact with the person, to say, hey, they haven't responded to me in over a month. Any way you can help me revitalize this lead? Be genuine about asking for the referrals. Remember, this isn't about me, my goals, what I have to do, what I have to hit. This is about what it does for them. So if you know the Simon Sinek video of getting to why, you talk about why this is important for them. And of course, it's going to benefit you as well. Be clear and direct when you're asking for referrals. The main reason why agents don't join Keller Williams is because the team leaders don't directly ask for the business. They allude to it and they beat around the bush for it. So it's the same thing for asking for referrals. Are you saying, I would love some referrals out to the general public? And when you talk to everybody, you don't necessarily talk to anybody. Or are you being clear and direct to people? So at the end of my top 20% consulting appointments, I would always say, after I did 30 minutes or 25 minutes of talking about them, I would do the last 5 minutes of, it's important to talk about wealth building. I'm one of your wealth determiners. So who would you love to be in business with? And we'll call them together, and we'd put the phone in between us on the desk, and we would call somebody together. And we were very clear that that was the time to build their wealth. Now, the script that I used is, I had a drawer of secrets. I actually still have it to this day back here, a full drawer of all of my resources I collected from people. And when somebody would come to my door, then I knew they needed something. However, if you're going to check something out, I expect you to check something in. If you're going to receive value from it, I want you to share back with value for it. So when they'd come to my door, I'd say, hey, what you got? A name or a thing? And that was kind of my catchphrase of they would know that if they're going to ask me for time, I am more than happy to give them time. I would also love something in return, if possible, for me to be able to give to other people. That's how we collect information. So it was really simple. That phrase worked for me and my personality and what I love on my people for. What you got, a name or a thing. So it could be as simple as that.
And Anna, they could also ask, who else do you know could use this? Who in your list of 10 people that when you think about what they're needing right now, that if we offered to give them this, drop this into their value gap right now, it'd be beneficial to them also.
That's exactly it. So that's the reason why I had a tangible drawer of secrets. It made it an interesting name where they're like, I bet Anna has something in that drawer for this. And I would have a massive file of something that's like, here's my marketing file that I would put it on my desk. I'd open it up and then there'd be all of this information of all different ways that people have done fantastic marketing and had a great return on it. And I'd be filing through looking for, oh, you're talking about this. This is how this person has done it. And they're looking at it like, I want all of that. But if they walked away from the brokerage, they walked away from the drawer. However, I was always willing to share. And somebody would say, well, I was talking to an agent and they're struggling with this. And I'd say, that's great. Why don't you tell them that my team leader has a resource of this other agent that's done this at a really high level with a great conversion ratio? And I'm more than happy to share. That was my mofer of getting people in. It was physical. It wasn't, I'm going to scan it to you or I'll email it to you. It was, come get it. You're allowed to check it out, but you got to bring it back. Okay, so strategic ways to get even more referrals. So when we look at this, we have 17 different ways. We're going to move through these pretty quickly. What I want you to hear is that you pick the one that works best for you, your market center, your implementation. Don't pick all 17. Pick 2 or 3 that you're excited about and decide what your leadership team is ready to implement. So the first one is host a profit share virtual summit on October 26th, which is what we're doing here and is super exciting, and to get 20 referrals a day. So here's what I want you to think about for doing this, because it sounds really simple and we're not just thinking about what we do, we're thinking about how we do it. So you have to think about, how are you setting the stage to communicate this? Are you just putting it out there? Or do you have a consistent marketing plan of how you're getting this in front of your people? Do you have multiple ways? Because you have some agents that look at emails, some agents that look at text messages, some agents that listen to voicemails, some agents that look at Facebook, but rarely does every agent look at all of them. So if you feel like you're just communicating it enough, you're just barely getting there. That's the part where you keep communicating it consistently. Do you have a powerful script around it? It's kind of like the script around bold. Bold is an experience, and it's really hard to explain an experience. Oftentimes I ask leadership teams, tell me about your script for bold. How do you explain bold? And they kind of fumble around in their words. Do you have a clear script and explanation where you guys are all on the same page and you know how to talk about this experience? And start with the why. Why is this most important to them? Why is this going to help them? Why is this going to build their wealth? Start with why. So strategy number 2 in here is host a panel with your top profit share earners and or your top sponsoring agents in your office. After the panel, have them stay for about 30 minutes to discuss a plan to help them double their downline. So what this looks like in practical implementation is you can put on a special panel around profit share. So you can put that early in your training calendar for October. Most people's training calendar is coming out right about now, maybe a couple of days ago, or maybe it comes out in the next couple of days. However, you can also have it in your office meeting where you have a 10 to 15 minute panel with your top 3 profit share earners. Help people discover their validity with this, where you may have a profit share earner that has built the majority of their profit share with 2 or 3 top producers that then had a bunch of validity. You can have somebody who has had a couple of cappers, a couple of non-cappers, and you can have somebody that has built it with people that are brand new agents. Everybody has validity somewhere. They have experience and something they can attract to. So that way it gives people the ability to see, okay, I can do this. And then after the panel, your people that were on the panel are most excited. If you want to keep them after and talk about, okay, you have done awesome at this. I want you to keep being the model for this. How can I help you with this? That is the best time to ask for business, is after you just put them on a panel. And then get commitments and schedule weekly conversations to get those referrals. So you want to follow up with that accountability. Accountability doesn't mean you're doing something to somebody. It means you're partnering with them and you care enough about them to give you the time, that you give them the time to keep them on track for the goals that they set. Okay, strategy number 3, let's talk about it, Linda.
Okay. First of all, Anna, I want to add something on your strategy too. If you don't have anybody in your group, in your office that you feel like could be on that panel, reach out to Pres and ask who are some people doing really well at building their profit share through our profit share mastery program. And they're always happy to jump on and be on a panel for you or something. So if you don't have anybody in your office and you're trying to get it up and going, then, and you need people, reach out to Pres. He will know the list of people who are actively really focusing on profit share and doing a great job. And remember, we want to explain to people that building your wealth is really changing people's lives. So just like their lives were changed by coming to KW, we want to keep changing lives. And so let's change the verbiage around it to how do we help change other people's lives like our life has been changed. Strategy number 3, I love. This one, actually, we have to give credit to Tara Smith in our region. She's such a go-getter and really real progressive at putting great ideas around stuff. But her strategy was meet with ALC, discuss the KW culture number 38. Build your downline to 15 as quick as possible, which is what number 38 is. Mo has been preaching that to us for years and years, that we get to 15 as fast as possible. And create a visual to put outside their office. You can see the visual that they did here, used to get commitments for regular referral conversation. It's kind of like the visual that was used for 90 listings in 90 days, where you actually had to fill in the address of the listing. This is the same thing. They fill in the names of the person's life who they've changed. And so put it outside their office, used to get commitments for regular referral conversations. And I just believe visuals really work. When I decided to focus on profit share, I put a check outside of my office that said $1 million signed by Gary Keller from Keller Williams Profit Share. And I looked at it every single day. So visuals have a powerful magnetic pull to them. So you want to put as many visuals around as you possibly can for those people. So thank you, Tara, for that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Strategy number 4 is have your staff pull a list of the last 20 co-op agents each of your ALC members have done deals with, and bring a list to your ALC consultation and ask them to make a warm connection with you. So you have 2 different sides of this. You just want to remind people, who have you done business with lately? Who did you love? Who would you love to be in business with? Who do you feel like would be really good if they have education or if they had productivity coaching like we offer, and you want to give them that gift? Why don't we put them in a group text together? I used to do this with my ALC members, and at the end of the conversation, like I talked earlier, we would literally put their phone in the middle between us. We would dial the agent together, and I would tell them, all you have to open up and say, hey, this is Chip James with Keller Williams. I know we did a deal last month together, and my team leader was asking me about who I really appreciate in the industry, and you're the one that came to mind. And they would say, oh my gosh, that's so kind. And I would chime in and I'd say, hey, I just wanted to make sure to be on this call because I don't think enough of agents get calls telling them that they're doing a great job. We only hear from people when it's the opposite side. And so I just wanted to tell you, as a leader in this industry, I appreciate the way that you are acting with agents and doing business in this industry. And I'd really like to give you a thanks by bringing you a resource. Chip shared with me that when you guys were having conversations, you're doing a lot of open houses. I have 3 one-pagers and a playbook of how some top agents are doing that, and I'd love to share those with you. And that would get a ton of appointments with just that. So this can be something as simple as a group text. This can be something as simple as you guys having a conversation with the phone in between. And that was it. We scheduled the appointment and my agent was along on their way and I got the appointment. So that...
Anna, something that comes to mind here is I've watched Gary recruit for 30 something years. And one of the things that I learned from him very early on is when you want to offer somebody something, ask, would you be offended if, because the answer you're looking for is no. And the answer they want to give people is no. So you could take that very same phrase and say, would you be offended if I offered to share those tools or ideas with you? because would you be offended? It kind of has a magical touch to it for them to say, no, I wouldn't be offended. And that's the yes that you're actually looking for. And I learned that from Gary years ago, and he still uses it today.
The good kind of no.
Yeah, it's the best kind of no, right? Okay, so strategy number 5 is bring a top-down report to the top 100 of the top 100 agents in your board. Have your ALC highlight the ones they have relationships with and ask them to book at least 2 coffee meetings in the next month. And then have ALC members report back the following month or how it went and how they feel they can connect you with. So here's what I would say on this. I would give them a task to do. When they're at that coffee, I want you to come back with at least 1, if not 2, of that agent's biggest value gaps that they have right now. What's their biggest pain point? Where do they need help? Where are they struggling? Because from that's going to give us what we're going to start dripping into those agents and creating that reciprocity and that beholdenness. But also I would make sure when they tell you who they have a relationship with, ask them if they already know like what their production is or what some of their pain might be. They might already know that. I want to know also how well do they actually know this agent? Do they really know this agent, or do they just, checking that they know the agent?
I was at a market center yesterday, and they said they were running a competition where it's kind of like we're having our agents do reverse bolds, and they ran a competition in the market center of however many people you can put me in a group text with and give a referral for gives you an entry into a prize. And
Ooh, love it.
I can't remember if it was this market center or another market center that was doing something similar, but they had groups of people, and however they put their market center in groups of people, and whichever group gave the most amount of referrals, they had like a $1,500 prize package. That
Ooh.
It was $1,500 that they split between that group of individuals, and they said it was pretty darn successful. I wish I could remember which market center that was to give them the credit for it, but I thought it was a genius idea.
I love it. I love gamifying anything. That's fun.
Yes, totally agree. Okay, strategy number 6 is host a co-op agent appreciation event. You can call and invite co-op agents on behalf of your agent. Everyone loves an invitation to something. I'm going to tell you, if we're just being totally honest, I did this one time super unsuccessfully, and I learned a lot of mistakes from it. And then, so one of the things that you could do is I had a co-op agent appreciation event, which show up at my office and you'll get an MREA, and I'm the one that did all the inviting. So what I learned from it and what I've seen other people do successfully, and I'm going to be honest, I can't remember if I implemented it successfully, but I've seen other people implement it successfully with the lessons that we learned. And what they did is we told them the team leader put the agent in the group text with the person that they did the co-op with and invite them to the agent appreciation event, and have it be something a little bit more informal, to where you can have like a charcuterie board in your office, and then you can give away MREAs or shift books, or you can have it at a designated location where it's much more of a agent networking event than it is coming just to pick up a book. So, which the book is super valuable, but we have to teach people to pick up the book and to be that piece.
Yeah. And Anna, right now people are having to do open houses and things to get agents to come look at their listings that aren't selling in some areas. That's a great opportunity, is to do the appreciation at a house that they probably want to come see anyway. And you could just hand out the books there. Something else that comes to mind here is Anna, remember it's not in all areas, but what's the magazine that agents can buy articles in?
Are you talking about Real Producer?
Real Producer. So one of the things we've started doing is we take those agents and we actually frame them for them. There's a place online, very inexpensive. I want to say it maybe is $170, but it looks nice. And then what I do, because it's my region, I actually frame those, get those sent to me I don't do it. A company does it. Send it to me electronically. We send it on to them. It gets shipped to the office, and then the team leader has a reason to call that agent and give them that gift. And one of the biggest producers we got in Anna's office a couple of years ago, I had done that. And so he had it in his office. And here's what he said. He said, I thought, she's crazy. Don't she know my dad owns this office? But what he didn't know is life would change things and it would be an opportunity later for them to join our company. And they did, not only him, but his dad. So just give, think of cool ways to give. John Maxwell says, give a gift so cool that when they look at it, they have to think of you. And I don't mean spend a lot of money, but just be thoughtful and see what you think is important to them.
I'm going to be honest. I even told Linda, you've lost your mind. This guy's got brokerage. You're wasting your money. And never forget, this is one of those life lessons you just experienced. She said, I don't care. You just never know. And this is her living you can never outgive what you receive. And yet him, the dad, the sister, the brother, all of their team members are now at our office. So you just know. Okay.
Yep.
7. Okay, this is bring your list of heat seeker agents and ask your ALC who they have relationships with and can make a warm introduction to. Remember, with heat seeker, this is something that would probably be best for you to export the names and the information and to be able to say, hey, I've got an inclination that these people are considering moving. Who do you know and who do you have a relationship with? And if the agents ask you, well, what makes you think that they're moving? Your job is to know what's happening inside and outside of the office, inside of the industry. So you've just caught wind that they're thinking about making a move. And if people know that this person may be considering making a move, they are more likely to give a referral. If they know that, they feel more comfortable giving a referral. It gives them a reason to give a referral.
Yeah.
Linda, go ahead.
So number 8, meet with specific production range in your office and call lower producers together. And one of the things I would do before I do this is I would have them ask your agent, what was some of the pain that you had when you were at their production? Because they probably had the same pain, right? So what are some of the things that you think? And that would be how I would make the call. And this is the great script for this may not be for you. However, Jessica Smith, one of our top agents, just shared with me how she went from 5 million to 10 million a year in sales. Would you be open to a meeting with Jessica and I to learn how she did that? And this script actually came from Exactly What to Say book. And it's powerful when you say this may not be for you. It's kind of a takeaway. So I love that strategy. This is one of my favorites.
Totally agree. Okay. Number 9.
Yeah. Number 9 is about positioning. Position yourself in the office meeting as one of your agent's top 5 key wealth determiners, because everybody wants a wealth determiner in their life once they understand what it is. And when you help them understand that that's your role, is to build their wealth, you can only do your part if they do theirs. I love this one.
Well, a lot of agents believe that they have to generate the relationship, get the appointment, follow up with them, convert them to Keller Williams, train them after they've joined Keller Williams. You need to consistently be reminding them that their job is to generate the relationship and make the introduction. Your job is to do everything else. So I love this concept here. Number 10 is host a top agent mastermind. Ask your agents to make a warm connection to 2 agents each to personally invite them to the group. All this means is put on a top agent mastermind somewhere on neutral ground or somewhere that people feel comfortable with. Doesn't have to be super fancy. And at one time I did this in a grocery store. Literally, there was like a little box space that had glass walls on the second floor of a grocery store. This does not have to be formal. And all I asked my top agents to do was bring someone with you that you want to be a part of the mastermind. Not give me a referral of who you like to be in business with. Just bring someone with you that you would like to be in the mastermind. Linda, you've got a great success story about this. Will you share it?
Yeah, I actually took one of our top agents and said, hey, do you think you could put 20 agents in a room? And she's like, well, sure. I've never asked anybody to do anything or whatever. I'm sure people would be happy to join us. So I asked her to use her contacts for putting together the mastermind, which I think we have the blueprint for the mastermind in our Profit Share Mastery course on exactly how we did it. But the main thing is I used her influence to build it. I led it because I didn't want the conversation to be selling them on KW. I wanted to be all focused on them. In the first meeting, we just put a whole list on top of the board of let them decide what topics they were interested in. And that gave me a topic each time we met to know that we were going to go over. And it gave me time to go gather KW stuff without shoving KW in their mouth and down their throats. And we got a team leader out of that said, when you brought out a business plan, I realized I'd been with Remax for, I don't know, 14 years at that point, and they'd never given me a business plan. She said, I knew that I needed to check into KW. She took our office from 160 to over 400 agents. She actually became the team leader of the office. Anna became the assistant team leader in. And here's the thing. You got to not preach Keller Williams, not sell Keller Williams, just come from contribution and let them self-discover through the tools that you have what they don't have where they are. Love this strategy. I know it works.
Yep, I loved that one too. It was so fun. Okay, strategy. Also, I want to add on that one. The first time I did this, I think I was 23 years old. I was an assistant team leader and I'd never done more than 15 million in production. And I invited people doing 60 million that had been in real estate for 20 years. And I felt woefully unprepared for it, but I knew I'd have to figure it out between the time I sent the invitations out to the time it was scheduled. And we figured it was awesome. Okay.
Yeah. The best thing to remember on this is when you do this panel, make sure that your KW agents that you put on the panel actually outshine the other people that you're putting on the panel. You put other non-KW agents on there because you want them to pull their office. But if they sound smarter than your KW agents, this is all for nothing. So make sure your KW agents are really strong that you put on there. Don't pick people that don't know as much as the guest you're putting on there.
How you know they're going to be strong is how well do they follow the model? How well are they knowledgeable about the model? Are they in MAPS coaching? Are they showing up to classes? And you'll know really quickly how they're going to show up. Okay,
Yeah, and coach them not to say KW a million times.
That is one that I had to learn.
Just a few times.
I had to learn that the hard way. I'm glad you said that. Okay, number 12, highlight agents who give referrals at office meeting. You can do a cash grab with a few 10s and 20s in it to make it more fun. I just heard this from another office that they switched their cash grab from 1s and 5s and a couple of 10s to 10s and 20s. And they said their referrals, it was something like doubled or tripled just with a small thing right there. They may only let 2 people pick it in their office meeting twice a month. So let's say you have $40 that goes out and their referrals doubled. I thought that was too funny and just something that was so small.
Yeah, love it. Number 13 is wealth building club dinner. Invite agents.
Linda.
Yeah.
Hey, Linda. Sorry, Linda and Anna, real quick. Y'all got 3 minutes to cover the last one. So go fast.
You got it. So
give them it all really quick. Also, I dropped the slides in the chat. So if you want them, you can go get them.
Yeah. So this one is wealth building club dinner. Invite agents who give you referrals to the previous month over a dinner or a nice restaurant at your house.
This is something that James Shaw teaches in his ALC clinic, and it's genius. He said people would show up at his house and craved that invitation. And it's just a way to have more of a personal connection with people, building the relationships with your agents, and also rewarding the referral.
Yeah. And then number 14 is bring Aaron Kaufman in to generate buzz and excitement for KW Profit Share. And I would say bring in Aaron and then also bring in Pres and I, because our strategies are 2 different ways, but they both work. And so your agents can kind of say, oh, that sounds exactly like I want to do. And you can't bring in Profit Share enough. So Pres and I are always happy to do calls for your office meetings. And so is Aaron. So don't forget to utilize those opportunities. And then 15 is personally teach profit sharing monthly. Remember, top of mind is what's important. People get what they focus on. Don't just share what it is, but how to do it. Get commitments from who's willing to set goals around their downline. And trust me, our agents will love you forever when the market crashes and they have passive income coming in.
It's so true. Okay. Number 16, when you ask for a referral and they answer, I can't think of anyone right now, tell them you understand and you will call them back in an hour to see who they think of. This is also thing that he did. And he said it took about 2 to 3 weeks of him doing this when he was calling his top 20%, asking for referrals. And very quickly they caught on to the trend and they all of a sudden magically could think of people the first time that he called. But he said the trick to this is you have to actually follow up in an hour to see who they thought of.
Yep. And create a MOFA or a program specifically to help recruits. It could be like you offer, $100,000, especially the market we're in right now. You'll guarantee if they have not made much last year that they'll make $100,000 the next year, or they get half or reduced cap or free. If they do these certain things, I would make sure you go to your OP and get approval for some kind of program like this. But this is a great MOFA, making an offer that they can't refuse to people that are struggling in the business right now, that are over at other offices that don't have anyone help them on any tools. So make sure your program has specific criteria though, that they have to attend, that, if they attend those things, they will make, they'll make more money.
Yep, absolutely. Okay.
So we'd love to have you vote which number, if you wrote the numbers down, that was your favorite strategy or one that that you'll implement right away. And Chris, if we have time for any questions or if they want to send them to us, whatever.
Let's, we're at time, but Linda and Anna have maybe just a minute or two. What was y'all's favorite? That's the first thing I want to know. What was y'all's favorite number? And then if y'all have any questions for Linda or Anna, now's the time to ask. Okay, I see a lot of y'all for the virtual summit. That's awesome. We're so excited to have you, and Linda and I's commitment and Anna's commitment, we will deliver for y'all.
Yep.
Number 10, number 7, number 4. This is why we went with the strategy of give as many as possible, because we knew some of you, it's like one wouldn't stick out to you that you're like, I can do that. And then some of them you're like, that's not me, or that's not my style. It's awesome. 4, 7, 7. What was 7? 7's a good. 7 seems to be.
Yeah, all of these to make sure I have the right one. That's the heat.
7's.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. Love it. Awesome. That's good. Was this valuable for y'all to give you some good ideas? Good.
Okay, just as a reminder, pick 1, 2, 3 if you want to bring it to your team, and narrow it down to 1 or 2 of action items, because if you try to do everything, it's going to be too much. Pick the ones that will. And then this is all about building wealth, changing lives, and creating a legacy. This is us fulfilling the mission statement of Keller Williams. That's the reason why we do this.
Yep. And remind your agents, you're not recruiting, you're changing their life, just like their life was changed. Let's change their mindset around what you're asking them to do.
That's awesome. Hey, let's all unmute and tell Linda and Anna thank you for their time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go change lives.
Awesome, y'all. Let's go make it happen. See y'all October 26th. Bye.